This is for those devotees who couldn't go there. So today and tomorrow he will give you glimpses of this extraordinary text, because nothing more than that is possible. It's 1 hour, 2 days, and then we leave every day half an hour for question answers. Please ask important, relevant questions which really mean something for your life, not for the sake of asking questions. Don't ask how did you become a monk and things like that. So this is a text this is attributed to the great Adi Shankaracharya, and these are all called the Prakarana Ganthas. There are subsidiary texts to help us understand the major texts of Vedantas, namely the Brahma Sutras, Upanishads, etc. This itself is, I think our heads will go spinning. It itself is so terse and difficult. But when you hear it from Maharaj, you will feel that it's very understandable, quite graspable. But it talks about Aparokshanubhuti, direct realization of the highest order. So without intruding into Maharaj's time, I just request Sarvapriyananda to take over. Thank you.
My pranams at the feet of Revered Swami Shantatmanji Maharaj. He organized a beautiful retreat in the Himalayas, and now this retreat here in Gurgaon, in the ashram itself, for all of us. And as Maharaj said, we will take up this text, Aparokshanubhuti. Is it clear, audible at the back? Is it too loud? No? It's fine. So we will take up this text. As Maharaj said, of course we are not going to go through it verse by verse. There are 144 verses. And if you want the entire text, I'd urge, if you like it, then one should study the whole text. So the best way one way to do it would be, I have taught the whole text, the entire series is available. Look through it. You have a copy of the book? Do you have a copy of the book, some of you? Yeah. So many of you have a copy of the book. Keep the book handy and listen to the talks one after another. But these two talks, today and tomorrow, will be of a different nature. They'll be like what is called a meta, over a bird's eye view of this. We will not look at every aspect of the text, just a couple of central aspects. We start this text with what is called a Mangalacharana, auspicious chant. So we'll start with the Mangalacharana here. At least this one verse we should do directly. We should chant it directly, and then we will go into the arguments, the insights presented in the text. Please repeat after me. Shri Harim Paramanandam, Shri Harim Paramanandam, Upadeshtaram Ishwaram, Upadeshtaram Ishwaram, Vyapakam Sarvalokanam, Vyapakam Sarvalokanam, Karanam Tam Namamyaham, Karanam Tam Namamyaham. I bow down to him, to Sri Hari, the destroyer of ignorance, the supreme bliss, the first teacher, Ishwara, the all-pervading one and the cause of all the lokas, the universe. So it starts with Ishwara Pranama, with a salutation to God. These auspicious chants, they usually are salutation to God or salutation to the Guru or both. And they are prayers for successful completion of the text, for attainment of enlightenment, for overcoming obstacles to the study and the realization of these truths. So whom are we bowing down to? Sri Hari, Narayana, Vishnu. And here the translator, Swami Vimuktanandji, he has said, within brackets, he has said, Sri Hari is the destroyer of ignorance. That itself points to what kind of text it will be. Ignorance, if you destroy ignorance, what can destroy ignorance? Knowledge can destroy ignorance. And if destroying ignorance is the goal, that means ignorance is the problem. What does ignorance do? It doesn't do anything except hide the truth. Ignorance, I'm ignorant about something. It doesn't change anything in the world. It just hides the truth from me. So there is some truth which is hidden by ignorance, and this truth is revealed by knowledge. Knowledge destroys that ignorance and reveals that truth. What that truth is, we will see. So Sri Hari, Bhagavan, one aspect of Bhagavan is the destroyer of ignorance. What is Sri Hari? He says Ishwara. Ishwara means God, the God of, in all the religions which worship God. There are different kinds of religions. Some religions do not worship God. There's Buddhism, there's Jainism. In Hinduism, you'll find Sankhya. They are not God-centered. But there are theistic religions which are God-centered. Christianity, Islam, Judaism, in many forms of Hinduism, Shaivism, Shaktism, the worship of Ganapati, Surya, all of these are worship of Ishwara, God. What is this Ishwara? This omniscient, omnipotent, omnipresent, all the omnis, the surpassing qualities of Sri Ramanujacharya says, Ananta Kalyana Gunagana, endless auspicious qualities. So this maximal idea of power, glory, goodness, holiness, all of that. So this, of course, it's taken on faith, but mystics have realized it in experience, and our traditions have revealed that, different traditions across the world have revealed that such a God does exist. And the one characteristic definition of God in all the religions which believe in God, God is supposed to be the creator of the universe. God is the creator, preserver, destroyer of the universe. We find it in Hinduism, but we also find it in Christianity, in Islam, in Judaism, the creator of this universe. So that's what we find here, Ishwaram. What is this Ishwaram? Upadeshtaram, the first teacher. So this is, again, we see this indication. This is a book which is about knowledge which will destroy ignorance. The moment ignorance is identified as the problem, then knowledge becomes the solution. If knowledge becomes the solution, then the teaching becomes very important, because knowledge is transmitted through teaching, through the teacher. And this teaching is handed down from none other than God himself. This is the tradition in all the Vedantic schools. Advaita, Vishishtadvaita, Dvaita, everywhere. God is the source of these Vedantic traditions. God is Upadeshtaram. One of the functions of God in Vedanta is the teacher, the transmitter, the revealer of this saving knowledge, which will destroy ignorance. And where is this God? Well, the answer is, where is God not there? Vyapakam sarvalokanam. Karanam. We just said one of the characteristics of God is the creator. What does creation mean? If something is the creator and something is created, producer, produced. In philosophical language, cause and effect. Something caused this universe, and the universe is the effect. And the cause, there is a concept called the material cause. Material cause is that which is transformed into the effect. Wood is the material cause, transformed into that podium. Water is the material cause of the waves. Gold is the material cause of the golden ornaments. God is the material cause of this universe. All right? If God is the material cause of the universe, then where is God? If gold is the material cause of the ornaments, where is gold? Where is gold? In the ornaments. The ornaments are gold. If wood is the material cause of that podium, where is wood? Right there. If you touch it, we say touch wood. We don't say touch podium. We say touch wood. That means wood is right there. Now this is a great, great point. That God is being the material cause of the universe. Here it is indicated by Karanam. God is not only the intelligence behind creation, but is also the substance which gives reality to creation. Stephen Hawking used to say, what puts fire in the equations? We understand at least some of the cosmos through all the equations in physics. But equations themselves don't create the universe. Why does it exist at all? You can understand it. You can find out the mathematical principles behind this universe and put equations on it. But what he is asking is what puts fire in the equations? What makes those equations real? And the answer from all theistic traditions is that there is a supreme power, which we call God, Karanam. But the Karanam is always present in the Karyam. Karyam, effect. As the wood is present in wooden furniture, so is God present in this universe. So, Vyapakam Sarvalokanam, all the worlds, all the universes are pervaded by God, by this one divine presence. You might say, where? I don't see. Wait. That's the whole point. We'll uncover all this in due course, today and tomorrow. And what's the point of all this pursuit? What's the goal? Paramanandam. The nature of this God, of this Ishwara, of this Hari is Paramananda, is deep, lasting, ultimate bliss, fulfillment. Its very nature is that which is the result, which is the basis of all that we seek in the universe when we seek to be happy, to be fulfilled. What do we do? Tam namamyaham. This Sri Hari, this Ishwara, this Paramananda, this Upadeshta, this Sarvaloka Vyapaka, this Karanam, I tam namamyaham, I salute. This is the first verse. This is the Mangalacharana, the auspicious invocation. All right. And then, which I will not touch upon, but I have to mention from verse number 3 to 10. Verses 3 to 10 are the fourfold qualifications. Every text of Vedanta, mostly, not all, but mostly, they will start with indicating what kind of preparation do we need to make Vedanta effective in our lives. And so the fourfold qualifications. Many of us, we know it, we have been studying Vedanta. Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadamadi Shat Sampatti, Mumukshutvam Cha. What do they mean? Viveka, the discernment between the eternal and the non-eternal. That there is some spiritual truth. This non-eternal universe I am seeing, constantly in change and in flux. I am seeing in my own body, constantly in change and in flux. Is there anything eternal? Is there anything that is permanent, beyond change, beyond death? And so religion, all religions say there is something. So this is the discernment that there is some eternal spiritual reality. Nitya Nitya Vastu Viveka, the discernment between the two. Second, Vairagya, a dispassion regarding this non-eternal world. Very difficult. We are all very mixed up. We are catching hold of both the pleasant and the unpleasant in the world. By temptation, by desire, we're trying to grasp the pleasant. By anxiety and fear, you're again grasping the unpleasant. It's ever present. The world is too much with us. So, Vairagya, a turning away. Not permanently. We will see later on. We turn back again. Sri Ramakrishna says you climb to the roof of the house. You leave behind the door, the first floor, second floor, go to the roof, and then you discover what the roof is made of. The same concrete, the same bricks, same wood. Then you see the whole house is made of the same thing. But first one must find that out. One must reach that height. So first, turning away. Turning away. In spiritual life, one must not only go away, one must come back also. If you are going to come back, then why go away at all? And you will not get anything. Then you will get this only, what is right here. So Vairagya is that process. In Vedanta, it's called the neti, not this, until we find this. This is the reality. Then we turn back and see this world is pervaded by that reality. But after all, we just said, Vyapakam Sarvalokanam. God should be present everywhere. But first we must leave everything behind to find God alone. And having found God alone, then we look at everything and we'll see God in everything. So Vairagya, initially a turning away from our too much engagement with the world. Stepping back. It could take the form of formal monasticism, or it could take the form of a serious spiritual pursuit where you say about the world, I have been there, seen that, enough of that. I'll just maintain whatever is going on, enough for my spiritual growth, for my spiritual progress. My goals are no longer the world. I am in the world, I'm taking care of the world, family and all that, job. But my goals are enlightenment, spiritual realization. Then sixfold, treasure, 6 disciplines. Samaha, that is control of the mind, a quietness of the mind, a settledness of the mind. Too much restless mind, spirituality is not possible. It will always flow out towards the world. Damaha, an actual control of the body and the senses. My mind is peaceful, but I keep munching on snacks and that is, the indriyas are out of control then. So the indriyas, the sense organs, body there must be a discipline. Simple living and high thinking, basically. And then titiksha, a spiritual fortitude, a spiritual toughness, that no matter what comes in the world or physically in the body or even mentally, I will bear with all of that as a result of my past karma. I will bear with it. And not just bear with it, I will pursue my spiritual life. Chinta vilaparahitam, without undue anxiety about worldly condition, financial condition, relationship status, physical health, without undue anxiety about it, without an undue lamenting about it, talking about it all the time, thinking about it all the time. No. I will pursue my spiritual life. It's not just I'm bearing it. Okay, you're bearing with your sufferings. What about your daily practices? I have no time for all that. I'm just bearing with my sufferings. No. My time and energy is for my spiritual practices. Then, uparati. Uparati is a deliberate disengagement with the world. Too much partying, too much. So, once I went to a place to give a Gita class, and the people who had organized it, they said, actually there are large numbers of other people, even in our own Indian community there. But Swami, they have no time. Every weekend is the only time people have. Every weekend there is a party. Every weekend there is a marriage or something, and they have to go to that. No time for Gita. So no, uparati. At some point you have to draw the line and step back. You must free up time and energy for the spiritual practice and pursuit. Then, having freed up time and energy, we must dedicate that extra time and energy to spiritual life. Samadhana, focus, stay with it. Don't get scattered. And then, Shraddha, a deep abiding faith in the teachings of the teacher and the text. So we have 6. Do we have 6? Shama, Dhamma, Titiksha, Uparati, Samadhana, and Shraddha. Then the 4th one, Mumukshutvam cha. Mumukshutvam means intense desire for freedom. Sri Ramakrishna was asked, what's the one condition for God realization? One condition for God realization, and he said, Vyakulata, an intense restlessness for God. We have restlessness, but generally it's restlessness about the world. If things are going in the world, no restlessness. Little problem in the world, lot of restlessness. Will not be a problem, a temptation also. Black Friday sale, long line outside Apple store. I'm talking about New York. New York is called Big Apple. They have a very big Apple store also, just near the ashram in Broadway. Long line. Why? Another iPhone. Every year, new iPhone. So, this is called too much engagement with the world. Not enough uparati. One must withdraw from that. And then concentration, samadhana, and then shraddha. Vyakulata, sorry, I missed that. Vyakulata, we are vyakul for new iPhone. We are vyakula, restless. If some problem is there, some serious problem in the world, we become restless. Something tempting for us, new iPhone, we become restless. About God, it will happen in its own time. I have resigned everything to God. No, that means I don't want it. I don't want it. I notice when I want something, how up and doing I am. Immediately, Amazon Prime, click, buy. I get it. It's not coming 1 day delivery. Why 2 days? I'm getting worried about it. So much restless about the world. In that case, I know my own nature. If I really wanted God, I would be restless for God. The same restlessness should be taken towards God. Vyakulata. That in Vedantic terms is called mumukshutvam, intense desire for freedom. So all this has been set out in verses 3 to 10. Now, then comes the first important jump into Vedanta. See, Vedanta can be put in a few words. Adi Shankaracharya, he said, Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jiva Brahmeva Napara. This half a shloka, the entirety of Vedanta is packed into this half a shloka. Brahman is real, the world is an appearance, and Jiva, the sentient being, us, we are none other than Brahman. Not that we are Brahman, we are none other than Brahman. None other than Brahman means you are not the body, not the mind, not a Jiva. You are Brahman and Brahman only. And the other way around also. Brahman is you. Brahman is not that Brahman is you plus Hari and Narayana and this Upadeshta, Vishnu. No. Brahman is only you, that pure consciousness. And that pure consciousness which you are, that is only Brahman. So that is the meaning. Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jiva Brahmeva Napara. Brahman is real, the world is an appearance, and you are none other than Brahman. All these texts have been packed into half a verse. And it gets better. You can even condense it further. You can make it the well-known Mahavakyas. Tattvamasi. That's an entire Vedanta is there. You are that. Tattvamasi. Or Aham Brahmasmi. I am Brahman. Entire Vedanta is there. Prajnanam Brahma. Consciousness itself is the ultimate reality. I am Atma Brahma. This very self is the ultimate reality, is Brahman. Brahman is the ultimate reality, limitless reality. You can condense it into these very short sentences which are picked from the different Upanishads representing different Vedas. You can condense it even further. Even the single words, Brahma, Brahman, Brahma, it means limitless existence. Or each word, Sat, Chit, Ananda, each one itself contains the entirety of Vedanta. Other words are there. Purnam. It contains the entirety of Vedanta there. Purnam. Purnam means complete or whole. Anantam, limitless. That contains the entirety of Vedanta. Bhuma, the vast. It contains the entirety of Vedanta. You can make it even shorter. The monosyllable Om. Entirety of Vedanta. Those who have studied Mandukya, they know. Mandukya Upanishad, that all of Vedanta is packed into Om. You need not utter any word, gesture, this. It contains the entirety of Vedanta. What does it mean? This, the ego, I. Who am I? I am this body, this mind, and this is something called a causal body. So the three bodies, physical body, subtle body, causal body. And when I say these things, note, check. Is it talking about reality or some kind of theory? Reality. Here is the physical body. Check. Because the subtle body, thoughts, emotions, my inner personality, everyone has it. That's the subtle body. And there's something called the causal body. Again, not theoretical. Basically what we experience in deep sleep. So all these three, this is what I think I am. What are you? I am this. What is this? It is I. So I am this. This is our normal state. And Vedanta says this, you have to do this here. I'm not the physical body, not the subtle body, not the causal body. Then automatically you'll see I am consciousness. I am Atma. I am pure Sat Chit Ananda. So this, it's called the Chin Mudra. The mudra, the hand formation expressing consciousness. Often when we try to make a point, we say like this. It's sort of natural for us. So teaching, this is the mudra of teaching. Chin Mudra. Dakshinamurti iconography, you will see, is Chin Mudra. So the Lord is taking the form of Dakshinamurti, the south-facing form of Lord Shiva, to teach us. That is the form, traditionally, the form of grace, anugraha. What is the grace of Dakshinamurti? This knowledge. Why? Because remember what we just read? Upadeshta is the teacher. How does he teach? This. If you don't understand by this, you will say Om. If you don't understand by that Om, he will say Tattvamasi, you are that. If you don't understand by that, he will say Brahma Satyam Jagat Mithya Jiva Brahmeva Napara. Brahman is real, the world is an appearance, you are none other than Brahman. If you don't understand by all of that, then he will write a book. And many, many, many books. which he did as Adi Shankaracharya in order to explain the same thing to us. Of course, beyond all that is silence. Maunam Vyakhyanam. The highest teaching is given in silence. There are descriptions of Ramana Maharshi actually sitting quietly, and the doubts of the people will sit in front with a question. When they go away, question is answered. So Ramakrishna's presence also it would happen. Question is answered. So that's the highest skill, highest teacher, highest student, highest skill. Of course, if I remain silent, it will not be much of a retreat. At first you might think very profound. After some time you will get bored and go away. All right. So now, what I was trying to say is, Vedanta is a vast range of scriptures can be narrowed down into one sentence or one word, or that one word can be expanded into the vast range of scriptures. The skill of the teacher, one of our Swamis told me, the skill of a Vedanta teacher is taking the sagar, the ocean, and putting it into a drop and expanding the drop into the ocean. Now, analytically speaking, if you look closely at what's going on in Vedanta, two things are going on. One is what is called the discernment of the self from the not self. The second one is called the falsity of the world. One in Sanskrit is called Atma Anatma Viveka, which answers the question, who am I? What am I? What am I and what I am not? And then there's the second part, which is the falsity of the world. What's the nature of this world? That the world is an appearance of Brahman, that comes in that second part. These two parts put together will give you Advaita, non-duality of Brahman. One non-dual existence. Ekam eva advitiyam. One without a second. So that will solve all of our problems. How that will solve our problems, how is that established? That's what we'll see today and tomorrow. So this is a deep dive into the DNA of this teaching, the inner workings, the inner, what you call source code. We're going to take a look at the source code here, the algorithm here, what's going on. Why do we have these two parts? Remember, separation of the self from the not self is not the goal of Advaita Vedanta. The goal of Advaita Vedanta is oneness. The goal of Advaita, the very name, non-duality. The goal of Advaita Vedanta is to establish non-duality, that there is one without a second. Duality is evident. From our birth itself we know duality. We are seeing duality. Shankaracharya says that in one of his commentaries, from the birth itself, the fact of duality is evident to everybody. So, Upanishad, Vedanta need not teach duality. But non-duality is not at all evident. I don't see it. I see diversity. Where is this oneness? Where is this non-duality? So Vedanta has to teach you. It's something new. It's surprising. It's stunning. It's completely counterintuitive. And that's why Vedanta is necessary. If it was to prove separation between self and not self, we all know that here I am the self, everything else is separate from me. Who does not know it? There was this Pandit somewhere in the Uttarakhand region who used to quarrel with a monk. The monk was a non-dualist and the Pandit was a dualist, Dvaitavadi. And then one day the monk said to the Pandit, I'll tell you in Hindi and translate, द्वैत सत्य है ये तो वो गौ भी जानती है, तू पंडित है तो कोई नई चीज बता. That duality is true even that yonder cow knows. I am separate from the grass. I have to eat the grass. Grass is different from me. I am different from the grass. I have to eat the grass. The cow knows that. If you are a pandit, then tell me something new. Vedanta is that new. Non-duality is that new thing which has to be taught. How do you establish non-duality? First, this separation is necessary. It's actually a little strange. You want to establish non-duality, you want to establish oneness. Why are you separating? What are you separating? Atma, Anatma. What I am and what I am not. This separation must become clear first. Why are you separating this? Last week, I was in Ashoka University talking to philosophy students. And the professor who introduced me to the students, Professor Arindam Chakravarti, he said, this Swami represents Swami Vivekananda. And how strange it is. The great teacher of non-duality, Vivekananda, the great teacher of oneness, his name means separation. Viveka, it means to separate. The very word viveka means discrimination, discernment. Discrimination of what? Self from not self. Eternal from non-eternal. The famous hymn to Vivekananda goes, Anitya drishyeshu vivitya nityam. The one who discerned the eternal from the non-eternal. In the non-eternal world, who could see the eternal. Tasmin samadhatta ihasma leelaya viveka vairagya vishuddha chittam yoso viveki tamaham namami. Beautiful hymn. He says, the one who could discern the eternal from the non-eternal. We only see the non-eternal world. And in this non-eternal world, we don't see the eternal. We believe there is some eternal God. And Vivekananda could see the difference. Not only could he see the difference, we will also see the difference by tomorrow. But the problem is we'll forget in an instant. But Vivekananda, he could discern the eternal from the non-eternal and then become immersed in samadhi, absorbed in the eternal. The non-eternal would fade from his sight. He'd become immersed in God. In samadhi, savikalpa samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi. How? Leelaya, play, just like play. It was not difficult for him. For us, even to concentrate in meditation is difficult. And Vivekananda would enter samadhi just like play. Leelaya. Why? What's the difference? Viveka vairagya vishuddha chittam. Because his mind was purified by Viveka and Vairagya. By discernment and dispassion. So again, going back to the fourfold qualification. Such a Viveki I salute. I salute such a Viveki. But going back to our point, yes, this difference is necessary to establish oneness. Why? If there is one reality, point it out, we'll see oneness. Then why this? I am not the body, not the mind. Why so much trouble? The reason is, it is true that there is no snake, it is a rope. You know the old snake rope example? There is no snake, it's a rope. So one might say, point out the rope. You cannot. You have to first say it's not a snake. Because this person is convinced it's a snake. Now if you tell him about a rope, he'll look elsewhere for a rope. But that thing which he thinks is a snake is a rope. So you must tell him it is not a snake, it is a rope. So that at first, when we are totally convinced that we are this body-mind, when we are like this, then the separation from these has to be done. Then only this will become clear. Otherwise, if you say, you are this pure consciousness, you are Satchidananda, well, I know I am this, so I'll think this is what you're talking about, this body-mind. This is the self. That's what we take to be the self in all our practical day-to-day dealings, this personality. So this separation between this personality, body-mind personality, and the real self, this has to be accomplished first. I came across this teaching by a sadhu here in Uttarakhand. He must have been a farmer. He gives a very, or he must have come from a village. He gives a very typically farming example. Jal se aapko khet seechna hai. You have to irrigate the whole field. Imagine a rice field. So standing water is kept in the whole field. You have to irrigate the whole field. Jal se aapko खेती सींचना है, खेत सींचना है. लेकिन जल तो आपका फंसा हुआ है कुएं में. Your water is stored in the well. First, one must extract water from the well. One must separate the water from the well. Then only you can spread the water across. It's not a perfect example, but to see everything as God, first you must see God separately from this body-mind. To see everything as pure consciousness, first we must appreciate what pure consciousness is, apart from body-mind. So that's why this separation between self and not self is going to be accomplished. Verses 17 to 33, where this accomplishment is done. Certain arguments are provided, which I will provide you now. We will not do it verse by verse. I will just sum up the arguments for you. 17 to 33, some of those arguments, many arguments are given. But remember the nature of these arguments. These are like legal arguments. They are not mathematical proofs. You can be convinced by them, or you might be partially convinced or remain unconvinced by these. But they are attempts, like a lawyer will argue before a judge and a jury to try to convince you about something. So they'll give multiple arguments, multiple evidence like that. So what are we trying to do here? I'm trying to understand this strange counterintuitive claim that I am not the body-mind. This is the first step to Advaita Vedanta. And remember, what is the second step? We will see tomorrow. But the second step just for, what is the nature of this world? Remember, we have to see God in everything. So what is the nature of this world? What is the relationship of this world to Satchidananda? That we will see tomorrow. But today, self and not self. Trying to answer the question, what am I? And also, the question, what am I not? It is not a snake, it is a rope. I am not body-mind, I am Satchidananda. This will be the track we will follow. Multiple arguments. So these arguments, first of all, of course, you have to hear these arguments. Then second, we'll have to reason, understand these arguments. Hear the arguments, understand it. What is he trying to say? Do I get the argument? And then check for yourself, is it a fact? So listen, understand, and check, is it a fact? One of these arguments, I'll give you maybe 5 of them. There are, to my count, 9 or 10 of these arguments, but 5 I'll give you, 5 of the most prominent ones. The whole retreat which we did in Sharada Tapovan in the Himalayas was just the first argument. I did not provide in that retreat. Those who were there, you did not get the rest of the arguments, but the first argument only. First argument is Drig Drishya Viveka, is the separation between the seer and the seen. This hinges on this principle that the subject must be different from the object. The eyes which see must be different from the objects they see. There must be a gap between the eyes and the objects. Everybody knows this. What you see must be at a distance from your eyes, some distance. Otherwise you can't see them. Even we become oblivious of the glasses or the specs on our eyes, let alone the eyes themselves. As the philosopher Wittgenstein points out, the eyes are not part of the visual field. What is the visual field? Whatever is visible to the eyes from here onwards. At no place will you see the eyes. Don't say, have you tried looking in a mirror? That's a reflection of the eyes. That's not the eyes themselves. If you take a selfie, it's a picture of your eyes. It's not the eyes themselves. The eyes cannot turn around and see themselves. So, the seer is different from the seen. The subject is different from the object. And this is a principle in grammar, this is a principle in philosophy. The thing cannot operate upon itself. A knife cannot cut itself. You cannot lift yourself up by your shoelaces. If you pull somebody else's shoelaces, you can lift them. But you try to lift yourself up, you can't lift. So, the subject, the knower, is different from the known. Look, the eyes are seeing all this, but whatever it is seeing, the eyes are different from it. Similarly, I, the mind, I am contemplating the eyes. My eyes are closed, my eyes are open, I need glasses. I know the eyes. So the mind which knows the eyes is different from the eyes. And now one more step. I know my own mind. I'm aware of my thoughts. I'm aware of my memories. I'm aware of my desires. I'm aware of my misery or problems. I'm aware of my waking, dreaming, even indeed deep sleep. In that case, I, the one who is aware of the mind, I must be different from the mind. I am the subject, the mind is the object. So, this is the first principle, the first argument, that I am not the body, because the body is an object. It is seen, it is drishya. I am the subject. How do you say the body is an object? Look, I can see the body. I can touch the body. I can smell the body, taste the body. My tummy is rumbling, I can hear the body. So the body is an object to all my senses. And with all my medical instruments, one can study the body as a machine, as a wonderful biological machine. But the philosophical principle here is the body is an object, you are the subject. Therefore, you are not the body. This is what is this principle? Drig drishya. Body is drishya, seen, known, objectified. You, the self, are the seer, the knower, the subject. So also the mind. This is even more stunning. Most of us will be comfortable with the idea that I am not really bundle of bones and flesh and blood and all the gooey stuff inside. No. It's my body. I am embodied, but I am a person. I am not just a body. Body is incidental to me, but I am a person. But the person is basically, what we mean by a person is the mind, thoughts, personality, my mind, my desires, my personal story, narrative. my ideas, all of my education, my knowledge, all of that together is called the mind. And even the mind becomes an object, and I am the subject therefore. Mind is drishya, I am drashta. So those who are in the retreat, they know we did this. This is argument one, to show I the subject. Because I am aware of the body, I cannot be the body. Because I am aware of the contents of the mind, I cannot be the mind. There are fine elements to this argument. You might ask, can't the mind objectify itself? But yes, then it's one thought about another thought. But that thought cannot objectify itself. Then you need another thought about that thought. So all the time when you are studying the mind, it's not the mind studying the mind. All the time, every thought is arising and disappearing in consciousness. You can study the mind with the mind. That's called introspection. But that's one thought about another thought. Each thought does not objectify itself. Drig drishya viveka. Result, I am not body, I am not mind. I am. There's no doubt about it. But I am not the body, not the mind. And I'm aware. I'm aware of the body. I'm aware of the mind. Second argument. Chit jada. This argument is called chit jada. Conscious, not conscious. When I look at the body, I have this clear inner feeling that I am aware of the body. But the body is not aware of me. This is a different argument from the first one, seer and seen. This is conscious and not conscious, sentient and insentient. I am aware of the body, but the body is not aware of me. The body is not aware of itself. The body is not aware of anything else. The body is not aware of this object. And I am aware of this body, I am aware of this object, I am aware of myself. So I am conscious, I am aware. The body is not conscious, the body is not aware. This is called chit jada. Sample this argument, First, listen to it, understand the argument, pretty simple. But then experience it for yourself. Take a look at your own inner feel, your subjective experience. You'll notice, I am aware. And I'm aware of stuff, including interesting stuff like the body. And even more interesting stuff like the mind. I'm aware of my own thoughts. Very interestingly, even the mind is not aware. This is very counterintuitive. This is not the way we think at all. That's why Vedanta is surprising, but when you investigate it, you say, these guys are right. I never thought about it. Try it. Think a thought. A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. Aparokshanubhuti. Think a thought. Aparokshanubhuti. Now, I am aware of the thought Aparokshanubhuti. I'm aware of it right now. I thought it. That thought Aparokshanubhuti is not aware of me, the thinker. It is not aware of itself. It's not aware of any other thought. I am aware of the thought, I am aware of myself, and I am aware of other things. So I am aware, I am conscious. That Aparokshanubhuti, that thought is not aware. Think about it. I mean, in common sense, in psychology, in modern consciousness studies, if anything is supposed to be conscious, it's the mind. But now we are saying the mind, truly speaking, even the mind is not conscious. Yes, the mind shines with borrowed consciousness. That's a different matter. The whole area of reflected consciousness comes there. So, chit jada. Jada, object. Chit, consciousness. Who is chit? I, you. The body is jada. How do you define it? Anything that you are aware of is an object. Anything that you are aware of is denoted by the Sanskrit word jada. You are aware of something. That which you are aware of is jada. I'm aware of the bottle, jada. I'm aware of the microphone, jada. I'm aware of the hand, jada. I'm aware of the thought, jada. Usually we don't think that thoughts are jada, but we are applying an analytic knife, separating consciousness from its objects. So even the mind is jada. And therefore I am not the mind. That which is conscious and that which is unconscious, they're contradictory. They cannot be the same thing. So I am not the body, I am not the mind, I am consciousness. Okay. Another one. Nirvikara savikara. It's an easier one. The body is changing. The body is changing from birth to middle age to youth, childhood, youth, middle age, old age. The body is changing dramatically over the years and decades. But I always say I am the same one. I don't say that the kid was somebody different. So no, I have changed also. When you note, you say, I have changed. If you specifically narrow down on what do you mean by the change, you will find it's a change in the body, in the mind, in our thoughts, in our ideas or beliefs. Those are the changes. But I, as bare awareness, I have not changed. It is the body which has changed. The self in itself has not changed. The adjuncts of the self, body, mind, yes, they have changed. Changing and unchanging cannot be the same thing, cannot literally be the same. They're contradictory. So the body is changing, I am unchanging, because I, by my intuitive feeling, I am the same person, I am the same identity. Not just that, by common sense, by law, by your school leaving certificate, you are the same person. And yet the body has changed dramatically. And the mind has changed even more dramatically. Imagine the mind we had 10 years ago. Visualize the mind, try to recall the mind we had as teenagers or as little children. A baby's mind would be alien to us. But we were there. And that was what we considered the mind at that time. So the mind has changed dramatically. And every day the mind changes dramatically. From morning to evening, how many kinds of thoughts? Happy, miserable, excited, bored, awake, sleepy. Dramatic changes, like from waking to dream, from dream to deep sleep. What global changes the mind undergoes every day. I am the same person because I claim I was awake, I slept, I dreamt, I woke up again. Who's that I? It's one I, it's not a committee. So I am unchanging and the mind and body are changing, therefore I cannot be the mind-body. Third argument. And don't say, what were the first two? Drig drishya, I am the seer, the body, mind are seen, therefore I cannot be the body, mind. Second, chit jada, I am aware, I am conscious of the body, mind. The body, mind by themselves, I'm using the words carefully, by themselves are not conscious of themselves or anything else, or indeed of me. So I, the conscious, and the body, mind, the unconscious, the insentient, chit jada, conscious, not conscious. I cannot be the body, mind. Then nirvikara, savikara, without modification and continuously being modified. I cannot be the body, mind, because I am the unmodified self. These arguments you can push back against them, but you can notice what I said, these are like legalistic arguments. You are trying to convince, trying to point towards seeing that I could not be possibly the body, mind. Although the body, mind are ever present. Any more? Yes, one more. I can give you a few more, but let's do 2 or 3 more. One is, another one I like is, I rarely give this, but it's interesting. Saguna nirguna. The body, mind have properties, they have attributes, they have qualities. This body is a male body, it is brown, we normally don't think ourselves as brown, but if you stay in America long enough, you're brown, you're white, you're yellow, you're black. They go on and on like this. So, it's brown, its body is brown, it is middle-aged. This is the body. It has attributes, it has qualities, it has distinct attributes, so much weight. These are the medical conditions, these are the, so all of these attributes of the body, the inner chemistry, blood chemistry and all which you get in your medical reports, all of them are attributes of the body, external, easily observable, not easily discernible. They are all properties of the body. You might say, so what? Go further back. Okay, let's say, so what? So what means this? I, the experiencer of the body, if I am the experiencer of the body, if I am the experience of the mind, I am the bare awareness. Whatever I experience is an object. So the body is an object because I experience it. The properties of the body are also objects because I experience them. So the substance which I experience is an object and the properties or attributes attached to that substance are also objects. Now suppose if I, the witness, if I, the self, if I had any properties, any attributes, any qualities, a question would be, are those known qualities or unknown qualities? If they are known qualities, then they become objects. They are no longer the self. And the quality is always inhere in a substance. So if the qualities are objects, then the substance to which they are attached, that also has to be an object. Then the self will become an object. But by very definition, the self is the subject. That's by definition. I am not an object. I am the knower of the object. I am the illuminer of the object. So any property, it must be attached to an object. The self, the bare self, the pure self, the utter subject can never have properties. You might say, let the subject have properties, let the Atma have properties, let them be unknown properties. But if they're unknown and unknowable, why speak about such properties? The moment the properties become known, in that case, they belong to the object. The body clearly has properties, and even more interestingly, the mind has properties. You can say a happy mind, an intelligent, the intellect is very sharp and intelligent, memory is very keen. And these are properties. Or my memory is like a sieve, I can't remember anything. So that's a property. Even the mind has properties. Mind has qualities and attributes. We do personality test, we do. So this mind, personality has qualities, clearly has attributes. But I, the observer, the experiencer of the mind and body, I cannot have properties, attributes. So I am a very strange entity, propertyless, bare awareness. You might say, then awareness is your attribute. You just said that I exist and I shine. I am. So my existence, you can say existence is your attribute. Clearly. Consciousness is your attribute. Vedanta will say consciousness and existence are not attributes. Not that the self is a substance which has two attributes, existence and consciousness. Existence, especially, is not an attribute. Why not? I can say the cloth is white. This cloth is white. And this cloth exists. White cloth, existing cloth. So whiteness is an attribute, color of the cloth. Then you can say existence is also an attribute. The cloth exists, that's an attribute. No. Why not? It was in 20th century, Bertrand Russell, in his theory of descriptions, he made it very clear why this is, if you do that, you will end up with contradictions. Why? He said, when you say, he said the king of France is, so this person is the king of France. How will you describe it? There is X such that X is the king of France. There exists X such that X is the king of France. But now if you say the cloth is white, there exists a cloth and that cloth is white. But now if you say existence is a property, the cloth exists, then what will you write? There is an X such that X exists and the X is a cloth and it exists. You'll be double counting that existence. If you make existence a property, look at the language. The cloth is white. How would you put it in Bertrand Russell's language? There exists X, such that X is a cloth and X is white. But if you say the cloth has the property of existence, how would you write it? There exists X, such that X is a cloth and X exists. You're counting existence twice. It becomes even more clear when you deny existence. The cloth does not exist. How will you say it? There exists X, such that X is a cloth and X does not exist. It's a flat out contradiction. So anyway, so existence is not a property. Similarly, consciousness, according to Advaita Vedanta, is not that there is a self and it has consciousness, not like that. That would be reflected consciousness in the mind. There is a mind, it shines in reflected consciousness. No. It's not that this light has, this bulb has light. It is light. It does not have a further light. It's of the nature of illumination. Similarly, consciousness, it's the very nature of, self is consciousness. Self is not a thing which has consciousness. This was nirguna, saguna nirguna. The self is without any attributes, and body and mind clearly have attributes. It says so. But the attributeless and the attributed, they cannot be the same thing. They're flat out contradictory. So the body, mind, which have attributes, qualities, properties, cannot be the self, which has no qualities or attributes or properties. Logical arguments. How many have we got? 5? 4. Okay. Another one, simple one. Ekam manekam. This is a psychological argument. Look at how we perceive ourselves. We perceive ourselves as one. unit, identity, single. Body, but body is a compound. So many organs, so many tissues and cells. And it's a tremendously complex entity, including being host to, I was reading, millions of other microorganisms. So it's a tremendously complex organism. The mind is tremendously complex. There are many modules. There is an intellect, there is a memory, there is a processing unit called the mind, there is the ego, the appropriating function, manobuddhi citta ahankara. They are all components of a mind. There are complexes in the mind. So mind is also a conglomeration. The body is also a conglomeration. But look at yourself, the sense of the self. We never think that I am apart from body mind. I will never think of myself as a composite. I don't think of myself as a committee. How many are you? I am one. It's always single. Even multiple personality disorder, there will still be one at a time. So I am one. And the body, mind are many. Ekam, anekam. Then the two cannot literally be the same thing. Therefore, I am not the body, mind. There are other arguments also. Antar bahihi. We always have the feeling that I am somewhere here. Either the body, if I am not the body, I don't feel that I am there. I am inwards, I am embodied, inner. And the body becomes exterior to me. Even in the mind, I am inner. The mind becomes an exterior to me. That which is exterior, that which is interior, they cannot be the same thing. It's like my inner vest and this outer cloth or shirt. If I say one is inner, one is outer, they cannot be the same thing. So this is a psychology. It might sound silly, but psychologically it works. Try to look at yourself. You will feel the body is like a shell covering me. I am somewhere inside, intuitively. This is an intuitive or a psychological argument. Like this, many arguments are there. Therefore what? I am not the body, I am not the mind. When Shankaracharya sings, Mano buddha hankara chittani naham nacha shrotra jivve nacha grana netre nacha vyoma bhumir na tejo na vayu chidananda rupa shivoham shivoham. The Nirvana Shatakam. Now we understand these lines. Remember, the first three lines are neti neti, not this, not this. You're rising up from the ground floor, first floor, up to the roof of the house. You're saying, I am not this. I am not the mind. I am not the ego. I am not the memory. I am not the intellect. Why not? These are the most intimate aspects of ourselves. How can you reject them? Why? Why not? Drishyatvad, because they are drishya. I am drashta. Jadatvad, because they are jada. I am the chit. I am consciousness. Savikaratvad, because they are subject to change. I am nirvikara. I am unchanging. What else? Sagunatvat, gunavatvat, because they have qualities, attributes. I am without attribute. Then anekatvat, because they are composites. I am single. I am a simple, an identity, a singularity. They are composites. Therefore, I am not body, I am not the mind, I am not the intellect, I am not the memory, I am not even the ego. I am not even the ego. By the same arguments. The ego is also an object. Ego is also not conscious. The ego is subject to arrival and departure, waking, dreaming, sleeping. Ego has attributes. It's surrounded by many attributes. So, I am not them. I am not even the sensory system. I am not the body made of 5 elements. Then what am I? And Shankaracharya says, only then I can say, Chidananda Rupa Shivoham Shivoham. I exist, I am. And I am the nature of this auspicious consciousness, blissful consciousness. First 3 lines, I am separating from the body-mind like this. Last line, this. I am this. The Chin Mudra, I am not the body, not the mind, not the causal body. I am this. Now, if you come to verse number 39, 40. 40 and 41. Having done this, Shankaracharya now stops. The author is Shankaracharya. He stops to take stock. Look back. What have we accomplished? In Sanskrit, there is a metaphor which is used. Singha Avalokana Nyaya. It seems that the lion which walks majestically in the forest, after every few paces, it stops to look back majestically at the path which has been covered. Now let us stop to look back majestically at the path covered in the last 1 hour. Shankaracharya takes stock. What have we achieved? He says, precious little. He says, look, 41. This you need not repeat, I'll just read it out. Ityatma deha bhagena prapanchasyaiva satyata yathokta tarka shastrena tatak kim purusharthata. He says, by this separation of consciousness, myself, the self from the body mind, what have you attained? All you have proven is that there is a body mind and there is a separate self. You have established duality and you have established the reality of samsara. How is this different from the dualists? He calls them Tarka Shastra Nyaya philosophers. How is this different from the Dvaitavadis? They also say world exists, self exists. You have not established Advaita, oneness. Tatak kim purusharthata. From Shankaracharya's perspective, nothing is gained by this. Purushartha, goal of life. He means moksha. What moksha will you get out of this? If you separate two, it means both are there. It means two are there. Because you're separating into two. Sri Ramakrishna's famous example. Chinite balite mishayache, sand and sugar are mixed. The ant can separate them. The ant can go and separate sand and sugar. Milk and water are mixed up. The swan apparently can separate them. And then, golmale malache, golti baddi malti lo. This is very difficult to translate into English. In Hindi you can do, golmal me mal hai, gol chhod do mal le lo. But if you separate like that, again the professor of philosophy, Professor Chakravarti, he asked, so he likes to throw these questions to you. Two things can be separated if both are objects. You are separating self and not self. You're creating a serious problem for yourself because you said the self is not an object. Your very argument for saying I'm not the body, not the mind, you mean body and mind are object, jada, and you are chit, consciousness. But now you're saying you're separating body, mind from the self. But that means only sand and sugar are both objects. So Ramakrishna is using as an example. So aren't you objectifying? So double problem. If you separate two things, you're proving both things exist. So Dvaita is established. Not only that, you can only separate two objects. So if you have separated self from body mind, then body mind is an object, no doubt, but self also becomes an object. How will you reply? Shankaracharya replies next. Number 42. Ityatma deha bhedena dehatmatvam nivaditam idanim deha bhedasya hyasatvam sputamuchyate. So by this separation, what have we achieved? By the separation of self from body-mind, we have achieved this much, that I am not body-mind. Next, we'll take up this question, what is the body-mind? What is the world in relation to me, the consciousness? Then we will see Advaita will be established. Then we will look back from the roof of the house and see the whole house is made of the same thing. Then we will see Vyapakam Sarvalokanam. The Sri Hari is present in the entire universe, including body-mind also. That will come later. But first, I have pulled water out of the well now. I am not body, not mind. Chidananda Rupa Shivoham. I am not Deha, I am not Manas, and I am pure consciousness. I have done this. This is the purpose of this separation. What about Professor Chakravarti's objection? If you separate two things, both become an object. There is a subtle answer. These are good objections to throw at Advaita. Then your understanding, our understanding of Advaita becomes sharper. So in Advaita Vedanta, we really don't try to separate self and body-mind as two objects. Rather, what we are doing in Advaita Vedanta is, purely speaking, is a clean neti-neti. Not this, not this. By this separation, I am not saying, here is self, here is body-mind. Not like that. What I am saying is, I am not the body, not the mind. I am doing this. The ego is separated from. So I am, the emphasis is on seeing why I am not the body, how I am not the mind. Not trying to see that I am consciousness. Then you make it objectifying it. That I am consciousness, it should become spontaneously, it should come to me, it should become clear. So, it's like the light illumines everything in this room. To separate the light from all the objects, say that all the objects, whatever is illumined is an object. Don't try to pull the light out of the object. Then whatever is illumined is an object. Then the illuminer will become evident. You don't need to, I have seen the objects by the light, they are separate from the light. Now I need to see the light, let me switch on one more light and look at that light. No, that you cannot do, need not do. The light will become evident. Consciousness is self-revealing, it will become obvious. You don't have to objectify it. Do you see the answer to both the questions? Why did you separate? If you want to establish non-duality, Shankaracharya asks. First he says we separated because first of all we have to see I am not body, not mind. I have to pull the water out of the well first. If your objective is to spread it around the field, why are you separating it from the well? Because unless I pull it out of the well, how will I spread it around the field? Unless I see that I am not body, mind, how will I come to see ultimately I am all? If I am limited to this well of body, mind, I cannot say I am all. The body, mind is not the all. This body is not that body also. This mind is not that mind also. I must see myself step back from body, mind. That's what has been accomplished. And what is the answer to Professor Chakravarti's objection? That I am not objectifying the self. I am objectifying body, mind and seeing that I cannot be body, mind. That's it. Good. We have had a nice journey, but now questions, important. Yes.
Yeah.
How will we do this?
See, please remember we have just 20 minutes. Ask very relevant questions and...
should they come up somewhere or from there it's coming out will be difficult?
We are giving mics to them. So please...
The gentleman who has raised his hand, you have to be... Yes, like that. You have to be like him. You have to be aggressive about raising your hand. Send the mic to him. Tell us your name and ask a question.
Name and question.
Pranam Maharaj, my name is Ashish Mukherjee. I live in Gurgaon. It has been really music 2 years. So I have two questions.
No, only one question.
Okay.
We are in Advaita.
So, okay. So, you talked about that our mind is getting illuminated by Satchitanand. Our mind is getting illuminated by Satchitanand. So, what happens when we are into deep sleep and not in a dreamer state or an awake state? What really happens to Satchitanand? That's one. Thank you.
What happens in deep sleep? You're saying that I am Satchitananda, the mind is illumined by Satchitananda. The illumination ceases when the mind stops working. When the mind shuts down, it's like a mirror which reflects this light. But if you cover the mirror with a cloth, it will not reflect light anymore. Similarly, the mind, when it goes into a seed state, so that who is going next? You raise your hand, they will volunteer will go to you. Then the mind will not reflect consciousness anymore. Then you will not feel I am a conscious being. Right now, when I feel I am a conscious being, it's the mind basically. When it shuts down, your experience will be blank. Nothing. I am sleeping, that experience also you will not have. That you cannot. If you feel I am sleeping, the mind is active there. You are not sleeping. Now, even that experience is an experience. Experience requires consciousness. Deep sleep is not an absence of experience, it's an experience of absence. Absence of experience? Nothing, zero. But experience of absence. What is deep sleep like? Right now I am seeing everything. I close my eyes. I don't see, but I am still conscious. I am hearing so much. Suppose I plug my ears. Now I don't hear anything, but still I am conscious. Suppose I don't hear, smell, taste, touch. Then I stop thinking. I stop remembering. I even stop feeling I. All of that goes. Consciousness remains. Every activity, every perception of the body and senses, if you stop. They do that, there are these sensory deprivation tanks. you're still very much conscious. In fact, it's supposed to be a very blissful, nice state when you shut out all sensory experiences. Imagine then going further, not just sensory experiences, you shut out the mind. No thoughts, no imagination, no memories. Will consciousness still remain? Logically, why should it not? It will remain as the witness, as the illuminer of the blank. So that is the argument. Vedanta makes this argument that deep sleep is also an experience. In the Panchadashi, Vidyaranya Swami says, Tamo bodho bhavet smritihi sacha avabuddha vishaya avabuddham tat tadatamaha. He says, when we wake up, there is a trace, quote unquote memory. It can't be memory because mind was not functioning, so it can't be memory. But like a memory, a feeling of there was nothing. But that's also an experience. An experience, he says, it requires, the argument he makes is, if it is like memory, but all memories require experience. You can't have a memory without having experienced something. Therefore, deep sleep was also an experience. And by implication, if you are having an experience, consciousness must be present. So these are some arguments. Advaita Vedanta insists that in deep sleep, in general anesthesia also. So that's why you need not use the word consciousness. That's why Swami Vivekananda is right. You can say that I am not body, not mind, not even consciousness. But that does not mean I disappear. I am that which is the source of what we can call consciousness. We can put it in that language also. I was at Harvard Medical School a few weeks ago, and there was a big program. Have you heard of Sadhguru? So, yeah, everybody has heard. He's a famous guy. So he was there, and I was invited to that program as one of the many participants. And the gentleman who organized the entire conference, he is the head of anesthesia at Harvard, big post, a very big man in that field. So the question is, under general anesthesia, is there consciousness or not? Because the field of anesthesia is supposed to say we are supposed to make you unconscious. But consciousness in the sense we are talking about, the original answer would have been no. That's what the people in the profession would say. But it's this head of anesthesia at Harvard Medical School is saying we have now new evidence to show that some kind of basal consciousness continues in deep sleep. And he says, and he used terms which are exactly like Panchadashi, but from research papers. He says there is some kind of implicit memory which remains after general anesthesia. They say it on basis of neuroscience and anecdotal evidence. But implicit memory, tamo bodho bhavet smritihi, this is the very language used by Vidyaranya Swami. Anyway, just for your consideration.
Pranam Maharaji. Myself Ramnath Prajapati. Question is 6 point on today's explanation, that is Bahir Antaha. But in Mandukya Upanishad, we have learned from you that ये प्रज्ञा जो होती ना बहिष प्रज्ञा ना अंता प्रज्ञा ना उपयोग प्रज्ञा है. दिस इज द वन. मन बुद्धि चित्त अहंकार जो है इल्यूमिन किया जाता है अपना रिफ्लेक्टेड कॉन्शियसनेस से. तो उस टाइम पे प्योर कॉन्शियसनेस कहाँ होती है? अगर वो सब जगह है तो वाई वी टेक द हेल्प ऑफ प्योर रिफ्लेक्टेड कॉन्शियसनेस to study this subject of illuminating the
Yes. Right. 2 questions. One part was, you said Anta, Bahir Anta. But in Mandukya there is the language. 7th mantra of the Mandukya Upanishad. Nanta pragyam na bahish pragyam no bhayata pragyam na pragyana ghanam na pragyam na pragyam. So it is not the inward turned consciousness. What is that? It is not the dreaming consciousness, it's not the waking consciousness, it is not the deep sleep consciousness. So it's not antapragyam also, inward turned consciousness. But you just said anta bahi. So this argument that it's internal versus external, inner versus outer. Remember, the inner versus outer is an argument. It's not saying that, don't confuse it with the antapragyam of Mandukya. There, the antapragyam and bahishpragyam is in contrast to bahishpragyam, where consciousness is externalized through sense organs and interacting with the world. That's used to define waking state. And when the consciousness is quote unquote internalized, but the mind becomes internalized in dream, that is called antapragyam, dream state. And when the mind goes into a seed state, the consciousness remains by itself, prajnanaghanam, the dense or the condensed consciousness. But consciousness remains by itself. So these are the three ways in which waking, dreaming and deep sleep are characterized in the Mandukya. Here what is done is, whenever you look at yourself, you always feel, I am in there and the world and me. I am here, the world is there. Body, the body is there, I am inside. Mind, I am the witness of the mind. Mind is exterior to me. So keep going inwards. Then that antapragyam of Mandukya, this argument will say, the pure consciousness is even inert to that also. Yeah. And your second question was, if pure consciousness is everywhere, then why do we need reflected consciousness and all that? Why do we need? We need it for experience of the world and to reveal pure consciousness. Pure consciousness is never an object. It's ever the subject. And to make it, actually it's not even subject. With reference to the mind only it is a subject. To make it obvious, only when it shines on the I, the mind, the ego, then it becomes obvious. I am aware. Look at sunlight. It's everywhere. But only when the moon is shining gloriously at night, we say, oh, do you know this is actually sunlight. It's being reflected from the moon. Suppose moon is not there. Actually, that whole dark space is full of sunlight. Sunlight is streaming through it. When a comet comes, don't you see that it's shining in sunlight? It does not have its internal lighting. But such a brilliant light show is given by the comet's tail when the sunlight reflects from it. Without the comet, without the moon, will sunlight not be there? Sunlight will be there, but we will never enjoy it. Because you need a reflector. That's why reflected consciousness makes it obvious. Yes. Yes.
Yeah, okay, so...
Tell us your name and ask the question.
I'm Gauri. So my question was that, okay, you're not your body, you're not your mind, and you keep that in your mind during your daily life, that, okay, what's going on in my mind is inert, my body is inert. And consciousness also, you don't conceptualize it. But your sense of I needs to be attached to something to keep functioning in the daily world. So if you're in silence, then you can say, okay, fine, I'm not the body. But in the daily world, what do you attach your sense of I to be able to internalize the knowledge and still not conceptualize the self?
In your day-to-day activities, you'll be using the body and the mind. Now, please sit. This attaching the I to something, this is not something you can do at will. You can't force yourself to say, I am pure consciousness, I am not the body-mind. The world will teach you that you are body-mind. When there is pain, there is suffering, there is the kicks and blows from the world, our body, especially our minds, respond immediately to the world. And we become very closely identified with the body-mind. What this process does is to convince us in knowledge, intellectually first. Whatever happens, even when I am involved with the body-mind, even when I feel I am this body-mind, at that time also you are consciousness. We are replacing ignorance with knowledge. What is the ignorance? I am body-mind. What is the knowledge? I am consciousness. Now, even if you don't think, if you're not keeping it in your mind that you are consciousness, because your mind is busy with work, your mind is busy with the world, even then the fact remains that you are consciousness. It's like Gauri. When I asked you your name, then you said, my name is Gauri. Instantly you said it. But are you constantly keeping in your mind, let me devote a little bit of mind space to Gauri, otherwise I'll forget that I'm Gauri. I'm Gauri, Gauri mantra, your japa you're doing, I'm Gauri, morning, evening, otherwise I will forget. No, you're so confident. And this is a name which has been given to you in childhood. It's not even your real nature. Now once one realizes that I am consciousness, one doesn't have to keep thinking I am consciousness. I remember sitting at the feet of a monk, where some teacher, vedantic teacher in Kankhal, this was more than 20 years ago, a young monk asked the master, Aham Brahmasmi, itna to pakad ke rakhna hai na Mahatma ji, is getting upset. At least I am Brahman, I am pure consciousness, that much I must keep in my mind, right? That's what you're saying. And the master said, yahi to nahi pakad ke rakhna hai. You must not keep it like. It's like saying, oh, I am Gauri. That means it is so valuable. I have to practice day and night. I am Gauri, I am Gauri, I am Gauri. If I forget, it will be disastrous. If I go into the world, if I'm driving, if I'm doing my job, if I'm busy with people and interacting, I forget that I'm Gauri. You never forget. There's a difference between keeping something in the mind and knowing something. If you know something, you don't have to keep thinking about it. So, knowledge will come. First of all, a clarity will come, I am not body-mind. Even when you're working with the body-mind, doesn't matter. You may even behave like the body-mind. But slowly this shift will come. At one point, it will be a sharp break. That I am the witness of this. It will be clear to you. And that you cannot take back anymore. And Americans say, no backseas. You can't return it anymore. Once you walk through this door, it will be clear I'm not body-mind, even when I'm working through body-mind. In the Panchadashi, the Vidyaranya Swami says, the ego, there are three senses in which we use the word ego. The one is the ahankara, ego, I am this person. Who uses this? Those of us who are ordinary people, we are in ignorance, we use this. Ego means I am this body-mind, that's it. The second meaning of the word I is used by the enlightened one. For them, I means aham brahmasmi. I am pure consciousness. That's the primary meaning of the word I. Third meaning of the word I is used by the enlightened one also. That is the transactional meaning of the word I. That just to interact with us, living in this world, the enlightened one also speaks and behaves as if he is the body-mind. Sri Ramakrishna would say, I will drink water. Who will drink water? Brahman will drink water. No. Satchidananda will drink water. No. That body-mind Sri Ramakrishna will drink water. But he says, I will drink water. But sometimes he would say, this place, ekhan karjanno. The enlightened ones can honestly speak like that. Because they know they are not this body-mind. So this will happen over time. Yes.
Swamiji, Namaskar. My name is Ashwini. My question is that all these concepts about the body-mind, I not being the body-mind, is going to be accepted by my intellectual, by my mind.
Yes.
That is fine. But practically, how does it connect with the 9 billion human beings and so many billions of animals and all of that, where it is of some use to me? What is the way it will get connected? What is the sign of it that it's getting connected?
All these concepts are in the mind, intellect. What practical use is? First of all, it is of the most practical use. All that we consider practical is impractical. What is practical? Money. All this time is spent in earning money. If you are fulfilled by that, you would not be sitting here. Yes, sir, I found moksha. It is bank balance. Nobody says it. In New York, when I go for a walk, one side of that park it's called Billionaires Row. It's just only billionaires live there. I mean, theoretically. If you ask them, are you fulfilled? No. They want more billions. Some of them. Pleasure. Somerset Maugham says, if you chase pleasure, single-mindedly chase pleasure, very soon you will find nothing pleasing anymore. Such philosophers you will find in Manhattan nightclubs. They will party hard, whole week they will work Monday to Friday, Saturday, Sunday, party hard. One gentleman said, I used to party at till 4 a.m. in the morning, then 11 o'clock I would come for Vedanta Society, Vedanta talk. Slowly he said how it transformed his way of understanding life, what he wants in life. If it satisfied him, partying till 4 a.m., then he would not want to come to Vedanta Society. I found moksha, it is partying till 4 a.m. No. Those are what we consider to be practical are not practical. On the other hand, the realization that I am Brahman, or this highest bhakti, devotion to God, someone like Shankaracharya, someone like Mirabai, someone like Guru Nanak, they are the ones who can honestly say, I am fulfilled. Tripto asmi. I am utterly fulfilled. That means what they have done is practical. That is practicality. Because we want to be fulfilled, we are trying many things, we are not fulfilled. That means we are impractical. They want to be fulfilled, they have tried something and they are fulfilled. They are practical. Also, second, intellectual you're saying. No, it's not just intellectual. By intellectual we mean it's sort of theory. We would say, ठोस बात कीजिए Swamiji, talk about something concrete. I am talking about the most concrete thing whatsoever. What we consider to be concrete, this table, this is practical, right? But this table also appears to you in consciousness. If you are this without consciousness, no table at all. No, consciousness is abstract. This is hard. This is solid stuff. That solidness is also evident to you in consciousness. Without consciousness, no solidness. So what we are talking about here is not theory. Every bit of it is real. Is body a theory? No, body is practical. Is your breath a theory? Thank God it's not a theory. We'll be dead. Are your thoughts, this question you asked, is it a theory or do you have these thoughts? They are thoughts, they're really there. So is consciousness a theory? No, it's a hard fact. And in fact, it's the fact on which all facts are based. All right. Second, the last part of your question we will answer tomorrow. How is it connected to 8 billion or 9 billion other living and all other living beings? We'll see tomorrow.
Namaste Swamiji.
Yes.
My name is Abhishek and I first want to thank you for the knowledge of Advaita Vedanta. You are the one through whom I've gotten this knowledge. So first of all, thank you for that. My question is regarding meditation, right? So from what limited understanding I have of meditation from Vedanta, your mind needs to be prepared, pure. Only then you can start meditating and realize the oneness, right? On the other hand, disciplines like Buddhism start with meditation, saying that if you see your thoughts are changing, everything is changing, you will realize gradually. So I want to understand what is the right way of meditating.
Start meditating. Vedanta never says that you have to become perfect and only you can meditate. Remember, I was reading somewhere, there is no bad meditation. The only bad meditation is not meditating. Not meditating means not sitting down. If you're sitting down to meditate, no matter how restless your mind, if you have completed your 20 minutes or your half an hour, whatever you had set for yourself, just sitting. The most restless, useless session of meditation you have got, even that is good meditation. Only bad meditation is giving up, not meditating at all. So meditate. Now there is a difference. In Patanjali Yoga, in Buddhism, that the way itself, in Buddhism means some schools of Buddhism. So the way itself is meditation. So you must sit and you must watch in Buddhism. In Patanjali Yoga, you must yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, pratyahara, dharana, dhyana, samadhi. It must be practiced, not just reading about it. But in Vedanta, what happens is, meditation is later. First of all, this clarity must come. What are we going to meditate upon? That clarity we are going to meditate upon. You have to stay with it. But to stay with it, first of all, you must prepare it. You have to say, let it marinate, you say in cooking. But to let it marinate, first you must put it in the pressure cooker and mix it with the spices. Then only marination will come. You can't just have spices and let it marinate. What will it marinate? So similarly, here you will find 15 techniques of meditation. In Aparokshanubhuti, you will find 15 techniques of meditation at the end. And very wonderful. What he does here, he contrasts that yogic meditation with Advaitic meditation. And we'll see that tomorrow. Some examples of that and how Shankaracharya is also humorous. Remember, he was a teenager when he wrote this. It's a little mischievous also. So I was making fun of the yogis and comparing with Advaitic meditation. Okay. We'll do peace chant.
Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu. So a couple of announcements. Just please remain seated. Maharaj will leave. Tomorrow after the end of the program, all of you can offer pranams to Maharaj. The lecture starts at 4 p.m. I think there were, in some places we had by mistake, one email got, I think it was mentioned as 4:30, although we have clearly said come before 3. So come in time, so that today also many people came later, so they were trying to wade their way into the inside the auditorium and so on. So please be here, so that from 4 o'clock we are